today's video I just wanted to do some show how I do my tabs and stuff in Lightburn. A couple different ways that you can do them. So I just wanted to show first, I drag out a square. I'm just going to make this square 100 millimeters. Now what you can do is, if you press Ctrl and D, it will duplicate that square. You can see now this is not flashing anymore because it's duplicated. Then you can just type -10 and press enter, and that will take 10 millimeters off of that from the center. And then for the width you can put plus, and then whatever the width for your wood is, like for mine 4 millimeters that I want, you know, sticking out either side. So if I say +8 millimeters and press enter, now that will give me the 4 millimeters out either side. And now with the selection tool, you can select the two of them and take everything out of the center. And now if I check this with the ruler, you can see it's 4 millimeters. And you know, you got the 90 millimeters here because I took 10 off. This is still 100 because I added to the shape. So that's one way of doing them. The other way is if you drag out your square and then you drag out another square however long you want it, and then just make sure the width is correct. So 4 millimeters my width. I'll bring this over and center it up. I'll say if you drag it down it should snap to the center there, and if not you just go to settings and then snap to objects. Okay, so I know this is 4 millimeters wide and it's as long as I want. So what I'll do is, depending if I want it sticking out, the tab, I will drag it till the line matches up on this side and the rest is on the outside. And if you wanted it on the inside, obviously you do it that way. So I'm going to just put this one to the outside so you can see these two lines match up now. And I'm going to grab this side and drag it back just to make sure it's crossed it properly. It hasn't affected the outside, so now I'm going to control and click the other line. Say take everything out of the center, and you can see if I get the measuring tool, you got, well, 3.99 millimeters there, so 4 millimeters basically. Yeah, doing it this way that I originally done it, you know, does work out a bit more accurate because you're putting in the exact measurements, dragging it to the line like I do there. You know, if you're not exactly on that line, you know, you're going to lose that little bit or gain that little bit. But I mean, 3.99 millimeters and 4 millimeters is, you know, it's less than a hair. So it's not like you're going to be missing out on a lot. The other thing, if you wanted to do an opposite to this now, so let me just drag out another square, same size as this, because this is one tab, and now you want to do the other tab that it's going to fit into. This is one way you can do that. You drag till these lines match up. Let me zoom in a bit so you can see much better. Once you've got one line to match up, see like the tops are matching now, if you hold shift and drag it, now it'll stay on that line that way. And now you can see both lines match up. What you can do now is, because this square is the same size as that square, I'll right click it and convert it to a path. And then go to the node editing tool. You can actually zoom in. You can see I'm a little tiny bit off there. I mean, let me just fix that. You just want to be well zoomed in if you're trying to do this, because you can make sure you're exactly on there then like that. Okay, so you go to the node editing tool. And you want to insert a node here on this corner, and insert one just around there, and do the same on this corner. Insert a node by pressing the letter I, and then another one there. And then what you can do is drag these to these corners. And now when you move this out of the way, you would have, you know, the exact fit for that. But if you did cut this on the laser, this one is actually going to be a little bit too big because you lost the kerf on both of these. But all you have to do for that is go back to the node editing tool, and the number down the bottom here where my mouse is 290,205, that's where my mouse is at the moment. You see as I move it up there, you know, it changes. But just if you put your mouse right over the top of it, when you're right in the center, so just about there, take notice of the number down the bottom there, 267.14, and I know I want about 0.2 off of that, so I hold shift and drag this down, so 267.14, so I want 267.34, so around there, and that would get rid of the curve, and you can do the same on this end without affecting anything else. Like I say, as long as you zoom in, as long as you hold shift, it's only going to go up and down. It ain't really going to let you go off unless you go a long way off. But you can see it snaps back to straight there. And now you can just adjust this to wherever you want. And that way, you know, you can fix the kerf on it. So that is a good way to connect them together. One other way you can do it as well, actually. If I wanted this sticking out both sides, I mean, you can, you know, you could do it the same as I originally done it, but what you can do is just another way that might help someone in the future. You can click on it, press Ctrl and D and duplicate it, and then come up to this mirror tool and mirror it, zoom in and hold shift and drag this till these two lines line up over here, and now you know you've got the same overhang here. So if you click them both and take everything out of the center, and now you've got the same tab on both sides. And any mistakes you make, oh no, all you do is press Ctrl and Z, and that'll take you back, or you can come up the top here and say edit, undo, and that'll undo your last step. And I think you can keep saying that if you want, yeah. But I mean, the easier way is hold Control, press Z, and that'll just keep going back. You can see it. Now look, it's going back on this one. One last one I'm gonna do is just to show if you wanted multiple tabs, the easiest way I found. I'm gonna delete this outside one and to start again. So if you wanted a lot of small tabs, say like you wanted these, you know, this size tabs, I'll make this 4mm by 4mm. And zoom right in, and then line these corners up. And then I'll go to the array tool, and on this Y row, I can make as many as I want. It'll space them correctly then. So I said 5. Now I'm going to have to change the spacing between them. And you can do that just by either typing in here or dragging it. And you can see that ain't quite, like it starts perfect this end. It don't quite finish perfect on this end. But all you got to do is say, you know, just have a bit of a guess, say 19,500. And you should see it getting a little bit closer. Let's say 19,600, and now you can see it's gone past. So 19,550. Yeah, and you can see that's perfect now. So okay, and then you can with the selection tool. I mean, a lot of people know, but if you drag it this way, it will select everything that it touches. If you drag it this way, it'll only select things that are within it. So it won't select the big line, it's only going to select my 4 small squares because the rest of that is cut out. So to do these ones, if you group this, and then I like to just drag this a little bit past because it don't affect the left hand side, you know, it don't affect the other side, but it just makes sure, because sometimes if you try and weld it and it's right on the line, it kind of just don't go correctly. So all I do is, grouped them, and now they're all selected, drag them across a little bit, so I've still got my 4mm this side, and then Control and click and take everything from the outside. And then it could work the same with this, and you can see at the top here it has left one of these little lines. But I mean, for that you could go to the node editing tool and I'm going to delete that one and drag this one back and just put it to there. And then you can do the same really. You could duplicate it and flip it, or you can just draw out your other box in this bottom corner and use the same spacing. It should all be set up the same still. So I'm going to drag that out 4 millimeters by 4 millimeters. I'm going to go back to the array tool, go in the Y direction, and you can see it is correct. I'm going to say OK, but because I didn't get it correct on the bottom, that's no problem, because you just hold shift, drag it down, let go, hold shift again, drag it across, and now you got the same on this side. So group them, drag it across a little bit, select the line first and then the boxes, and say everything from the outside. You can see it's left that little bit again, which I could do the same again really, or you could adjust the array tool by that tiny amount, maybe try, you know, 575, and it will work out exact. I just weren't zoomed in close enough to see. So yeah, that's a few ways that I do my tabs. Oh, one other good thing with the tabs is it's always handy to duplicate them. Now let me just go back a little bit. I'm going to put these back to there. I'll still group them, but now I'm going to duplicate them just so I've got a spare set. So now if I want, you know, one that's going to fit into that, I can always drag out, you know, select these. Well, let's just make sure these line up roughly. Yeah. Selection tool, select these and stretch them across a little bit. Click the two of them and now take everything out of the center, and now that way you've got the opposing tabs to that. And the same thing, if you did want to open them up a bit, you can just select these two, slightly pull it out so it's, you know, so you're gaining your curve back. The more you zoom in, the better, more accurate you can get it really. I've got that one that keys into this one, and I mean you can do the tabs like that anyway, but I still think the most accurate way is that original way, just by using the plus and minus from your original square. So yeah, I just wanted to show them a few little tips that I use, and I'll put out another video as soon as possible. Thank you for watching, and please like and subscribe.